Hello everyone and welcome to a quick tutorial on silence mechanisms. So first of all, I want to say this is a tutorial geared more at people who have not used tech mods before. If you've used tech mods before, like thermal expansion, Ender IO, immersive engineering, or what have you, and you've got JEI installed, you're probably going to be fine. So this is more for people who don't understand the concept of how energy is transferred, or people who just may not be as familiar with JEI. So I am currently running this in my development environment, so I'm on a build that has a couple of features that have not been released yet. So I'm just going to gloss over a couple things here, and I think I've added one new advancement, which I don't have because this is a fresh world. So, go ahead and just make this full screen, if that will... Okay, yeah. OBS was looking a little weird there. Probably cut that out. So I'm going to go ahead and just give myself a crafting table here. And put that down. So, giving myself that will have unlocked the advancements for the mod. So you can use this as kind of a basic guide of where to go. So we could see a little bit down the tree, which doesn't actually go too deep so far, but we need a stone machine frame first, a coal generator, and a basic alloy smelter to get started with the mod. Alright, so I strongly recommend you install the mod JEI Just Enough Items. This will give you this lovely menu here on the right, which you can use to view all the blocks and items in the game. And you can view recipes, ways to get those items by pressing R on them. You can press U to look up usages of that item. And that's also kind of nice because if we use press U on the crafting table, you'll see it'll show all crafting recipes. So that's because the crafting table is considered a catalyst for these recipes. So you can press U on a block and it'll show you all the recipes that block can process. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at one more thing that JEI can do. So I'm going to type an @ and then I'm going to type in part of the mod's name. So I just typed in mech, could be mechanism or whatever, and that grabbed all the blocks from the mods that matched what I type in, or all the blocks and items. So you could see everything from the mod right here. It's in a page and a half with GUI scale auto. So let's go ahead and find the stone machine frame. So we could press R to view the recipe. You can see it needs 4 smooth stone, 4 glass, and an iron ingot. So that's pretty easy to craft. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a couple of those. So now with the stone machine frame, we can craft a basic alloy smelter, a basic crusher, and a coal generator. So we need a coal generator first, which is going to take some iron, some copper, the machine frame, and some cobblestone, so pretty cheap stuff. Copper you can find as an ore. For an alloy smelter, we're going to need copper and tin and some bricks, so you'll need to harvest a little bit of clay. So one other little convenience that JEI offers is you can see there's this plus button here which will move items to the crafting table for you. So just open up a crafting table and press this button to move the items if you have them. You can see I only have the machine frames in my inventory, so I can't do that. But I'm going to go ahead and just give myself these items right here. Just skip the crafting process. That's self-explanatory, I hope. Alright, so we got a couple of advancements there for obtaining those blocks. So you can see there's a new one here for making a basic crusher, and then one beyond that for an alloy machine frame. So let's go ahead and put down the coal generator, and I'm going to place the basic alloy smelter so that it is touching the coal generator. So just right next to it on any side. Could be above it, below it, to the side, in back, in front, wherever, just as long as it's touching. And now I'm going to go ahead and get some coal. And I'm going to put this in the coal generator. So the coal generator won't burn any furnace fuel. It'll burn coal, charcoal, coal blocks. If a mod adds anything that's like a coal nugget, that should work as well. Charcoal blocks currently do not work by default. I'm going to be adding that in the next update. But you could actually modify a tag to allow whatever you want to burn in as fuel in here, as long as it's already a furnace fuel. But by default, it just runs on coal and charcoal. Okay, so you can see this thing has burned a piece of coal. It's actually still burning a piece of coal, but it's already filled up its power buffer here because it's a pretty small buffer. So the rest of that piece of coal is technically wasted. Not a whole lot we can do about that right now, except for using the alloy smelter. So you can see this thing's power bar is filled up because the generator has passed that power along to the alloy smelter. So what can we do with the alloy smelter at this point? So if you look, you could actually click on the arrow here to view the recipes. Another way you could do that is to look at the basic alloy smelter and press U. You could also do that with the normal alloy smelter. That would work as well. So either way, we can view all the alloy smelter recipes here. So one nice thing about most of the alloy smelter recipes is that they can accept either ingots or dust or crushed ore bits. So in this case, you could see all these items here are iron, so you just need 2 iron. It can be in ingot form, dust form, or ore chunks. And this is nickel, so again, that can be ingot, ore chunks, or dust. So anyway, let me go ahead and give myself some iron ingots and some redstone dust. Is that just redstone? Yeah, okay. So what I want to make is redstone alloy ingot. So again, you can press R on an item view to view the recipe. Now, one thing to note is by default, it's going to take you to the crafting tab. So if you're like, well, how do I make this? Remember there are tabs up here in the top, so you can switch between those. So what we want is actually this alloy smelting recipe. So for that, we need 1 iron and 4 redstone dust. We can actually just put multiple in there, and it'll take a few seconds to actually process 1. There we go, there's our first 2 ingots of redstone alloy. So again, that was 1 iron and 4 redstone to make 2 of them. Okay, so now we can make that basic crusher. So for the basic crusher, we'll need some bronze, which we need to make in the alloy smelter. So I'll go ahead and pull those out, and I'll go ahead and get some copper and some tin. And that will make some bronze. Then with that, we will also need aluminum. Aluminum is I'm going to go ahead and just show this wiki page really quickly. So this lists all of the ores and the heights that you can find them with the default config. So copper is 40 to 90. Aluminum is, oh, well, it's called bauxite ore. So it's 15 to 50. So most heights underground, but you'll have to dig down a little bit. You won't find it in the side of a cliff or something. Okay, so yeah, we got plenty of bronze now. Not that I'm actually going to craft this, I'm just going to give myself a basic crusher. So again, this requires power, so I'm going to place it right next to the generator there. You can see it's already filled up with power very quickly. And as before, we can click on the arrow to get the recipes, or we could press U on the block in our inventory or JEI. So you can see there are crushing recipes here. So one of the main things you'll use a crusher for is just crushing ores down. And thanks, Rain. So the crushing for ores works a bit differently in silence mechanisms than in most mods. In most mods, you'll put in an ore block and you'll get like 2 dust from it. And then each dust you can smelt into an ingot. In silence mechanisms, you get ore chunks instead of dust, and most of the ores will also have a small chance of getting you some cobblestone. And then the ore chunks, you can do 2 things with. You can either crush them again, and you'll get 1 dust and a 10% chance of getting a second dust, or you can just smelt the ore chunks as they are into an ingot. And of course the dust will also smelt into an ingot. So if you want to spend the power for a chance at a little bit extra, you can, or you can just smelt the ore chunks directly. Okay, so back to where I was. I actually want to do something different. So we want coal dust at this point. So to do that, we just crush coal. Pretty simple. Okay, and now with the coal dust, we've unlocked a few more alloy smelting recipes. We can make steel, and there's 3 different types: bismuth steel, aluminum steel, and just plain iron steel. So there is one recipe in this mod in which we can use all 3 of these for, and that's the next step in the advancement tree. It's the alloy machine frame. So we can use any 3 of these steels in this recipe. We'll also need redstone alloy ingots. So now that we've got this, we can make whatever type of steel we want, and then we can craft an alloy machine frame. Now from here, that's pretty much the end of the tech tree for this mod as it is now. We can craft everything else at this point, so we've got an upgraded version of the alloy smelter, which is just the same thing but faster and supports upgrades. The crusher is just an upgraded basic crusher. The electric furnace will smelt anything that a furnace or a blast furnace could. The compressor currently doesn't have a lot of uses. I think it's got like 2 recipes for it by default. And then we can build battery boxes and wires. And this advancement is one that I just added yesterday, so it's not in the current released version. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself a battery box, some wires, and I'm going to go ahead and grab a wrench. I don't think I'll need it. And a couple extra batteries. So I'll go ahead and leave this set up here. Let's go ahead and grab a different generator. Let's grab a lava generator. There's also a diesel generator. We'll get back to that in a minute. So, right now, we're just putting our machines by the generator, which is not great because we've got one generator powering multiple machines, and there's only so many sides we can put things on before we block off the generator entirely. So that's where the wires come in. We also don't have a lot of power storage over there, so the battery box will allow us to fix that. So you can see it stores 500,000 FE normally, same as the batteries, and if we put some batteries in it, you'll notice the battery box's capacity has gone up. So we can add up to 6 batteries, and that will increase our storage capacity. Now for the lava generator, you'll notice there's some extra slots up here. These are upgrade slots. We'll get back to those. One thing that you may notice is also a little different is we got this blue bar here. This is a fluid tank. So what I'm going to do is, this thing needs lava, as you may be able to guess by its name. But we've actually got, if I can find them in here. Yeah, I forgot. That's a bug. Okay, I'm just going to switch to creative really quickly here, and I'm going to take some... Actually, I'll just grab all the canisters I need for right now. So the canisters are like buckets, but stackable. Unfortunately, they tend to not work with other mods. That's something that needs to be worked on. Maybe it's solvable, maybe it's not. But you can use buckets, or you can use just canisters like that. If you have a mod that adds fluid pipes, you can also use those to just pipe in lava. Which, I'm working on pipes, but they don't function yet. So now we've got our generator. It's powering this battery box. It's filling up these batteries first, and then it'll fill up the internal supply of the battery box, but all of this energy is usable. So now what we can do is take some wires, just extend that out, and let's grab some new machines. So we can just connect these to the wires by placing them down. You'll see the connection is red. That means that it is putting energy into those blocks. The green connections are pulling energy. So you'll notice these batteries are now drained. That's because it's filling up the buffers in the machines. And fortunately, it does them one by one, as it is right now. The wires do need to be improved a bit, but as long as you're not overloading your system, all your machines will get power. Just might take a few seconds for all the buffers to fill up. And now the batteries are filling up again. Okay, so alloy smelter, same as before, but we've got some upgrade slots. Crusher, same as before, but upgrade slots. Compressor also has upgrade slots, and you can see there are 3 recipes total with this thing. You can actually add recipes for all these machines with data packs, by the way. Okay, and finally the electric furnace. Again, it's just a furnace or a blast furnace. Alright, so let's go ahead and extend this wire out a little bit further and talk about the last few machines of the mod. So we've got a refinery, a mixer, a solidifier, and we've also got the pump. Now the pump will take in liquids from the world, and to do that, let's actually just... I'm gonna go into creative mode really quickly for this. It'd be better if we had something other than water, but yeah, okay. So here's an oil pool. This will work out well enough. Where did I get these smooth stone slabs? I don't remember grabbing these. Okay, so I'm going to just put the pump right above the oil. And lava generator, power it. Now the pump should start sucking up the oil. So it's got a limited range, so you can see it started over there. It's just going to slowly pick up the blocks. And then we can take something like empty canisters or buckets or whatever and let it fill those up. Okay, so back over here. I'm going to place down the refinery, mixer, and the solidifier. So the refinery will take in 1 fluid as an input. Currently the only built-in recipe uses oil. And this will make diesel and ethane. The diesel can be used to power the diesel generator. It works just like the lava generator. Currently, this is the best power generator in the game. It produces 100 FE per tick and a total of 1.2 million FE per bucket. Okay, so we can currently use canisters to empty this out. If you have a mod that adds fluid pipes, that'll work as well. Now onto the mixer. This has 4 inputs and 1 output. So we can take... I've already messed that up. Okay, currently there's no way to remove stuff from the mixer, so just had to break it in that case. Let's give you a few water, and then the ethane. Okay, so water and ethane will make polyethylene. Okay, and then the polyethylene in the solidifier will make plastic pellets. Alright, and then those can be made into plastic sheets. And then those can be used to make the upgrade cases. And then these can be used to make the machine upgrades. So currently we have a range upgrade. This only works on the pump. It increases the range it can work. The output chance or upgrade currently only works on the crusher. You get an increased chance of secondary output, so that's anything with a percentage on it. Like the extra dust from crushing ore chunks. The energy efficiency upgrade just reduces the energy the machine uses to work. The processing speed upgrade makes it run faster. And there is one more, the energy capacity upgrade, which currently does not work. So, the upgrade system, I know it needs some work because it's not very obvious what some of these do. There's a lot of confusion about the range upgrade. People seem to think it should work on generators, which is part of why I'm making this video. Yeah, don't put range upgrades in the generator. It doesn't do anything. If you want more range to your power, that's what the wires are for. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot the drying racks. So the drying racks, you just put them in the world, put something on them, and that can transform into something else. Smoke particles means it's working. So these are all the drying recipes. You can make jerky out of meat, you can dry sponges, and you can make zombie leather out of rotten flesh, which can then be used to make leather. So that's all there is to them, really. Unfortunately, these don't have separate output slots, so in order to automate these, you'll need either a timer or some item extraction method that allows you to filter items. Alright, so I think that's all there is to cover. Hopefully that was a good introduction to the mod for anyone who's never used a tech mod before. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section or my Discord server, which would probably get you a faster answer, just FYI. Alright, and thanks for watching.